IELTS Speaking Part 2. Describe events. Describe an occasion when you received some incorrect information. IELTS Speaking Part 2. Describe events. Struggling to describe events in IELTS? V2T English will help you overcome this obstacle. Master Band 9 answers with ease. Powerful vocabulary and natural phrases. Band 9 tips plus full vocabulary breakdown. Cue card. Describe an occasion when you received some incorrect information. You should say when it happened, what the information was, how you learned the information was incorrect, and how you felt about the experience. Time allocation. Total time, 2 minutes, 120 seconds. 1. Introduction, 0 to 15 seconds. 2. When it happened, 15 to 35 seconds. 3. What the information was, 35 to 60 seconds. 4. How you learned it was incorrect, 60 to 95 seconds. 5. How you felt about the experience, 95 to 115 seconds. 6. Conclusion, 115 to 120 seconds. Guided structure. 1. Introduction, 0 to 15 seconds. Suggested ideas plus academic vocabulary / collocations. In our fast-paced digital age, misinformation can spread rapidly. Digital misinformation, information overload, data credibility. Receiving inaccurate details can lead to serious consequences. Erroneous information, miscommunication, misleading sources. I'd like to share an instance where I was misled due to incorrect data. False assumption, communication failure, unreliable content. Example. In today's world of digital misinformation and overwhelming content, it's not uncommon to fall victim to misleading sources. I'd like to describe an occasion when I made a false assumption based on unreliable content, which turned out to be a rather eye-opening experience. 2. When it happened, 15 to 35 seconds. Suggested ideas plus academic vocabulary / collocations. It occurred last year when I was applying for a university scholarship. Academic procedure, application timeline, institutional communication. I relied on a third-party educational website for updates. Secondary source, external platform, non-authoritative outlet. I had been following this site regularly for deadlines and requirements. Information dependency, routine consultation, update tracking. Example. This incident took place around last March, during the scholarship application period. I had been closely monitoring a secondary source, which was an educational blog that frequently posted about application timelines and eligibility criteria. 3. What the information was, 35 to 60 seconds. Suggested ideas plus academic vocabulary / collocations. The post stated that the deadline had been extended by 2 weeks. Application deferral, deadline extension, official announcement. Based on that update, I decided to delay submitting my documents. Time-sensitive decision, submission postponement, document preparation. Unfortunately, that information was never confirmed by the official website. verification gap, inconsistent communication, lack of credibility. Example: according to the blog, the university had declared a deadline extension for the scholarship by 2 weeks, so I made a time-sensitive decision to delay my submission. Little did I know, this was an unverified claim, and no such update was available on the official university portal. 4. How you learned it was incorrect. 60 to 95 seconds. Suggested ideas plus academic vocabulary / collocations. I later received an official email stating the deadline had already passed. Formal notification, institutional message, deadline enforcement. I revisited the university website and realized no changes had been made. Source validation, cross-checking process, authentic source. It became clear that the blog had published outdated or fabricated details. Information discrepancy, misrepresentation, lack of accountability. Example: a week later, I received a formal notification from the university indicating that the application deadline had already closed. Shocked, I immediately revisited the official website for source validation, only to confirm that no extension had ever been declared. It was then that I realized the blog had misrepresented the facts. 5. How you felt about the experience. 95 to 115 seconds. Suggested ideas plus academic vocabulary / collocations. I was disappointed and blamed myself for not checking the official site. Self-reproach, due diligence, emotional setback. The experience taught me the importance of verifying sources. Critical thinking, source reliability, analytical judgment. It also highlighted how easily misinformation can mislead people. Susceptibility to error, cognitive bias, media literacy. Example: this experience left me with a strong sense of self-reproach, as I had failed to exercise proper due diligence. However, it also underscored the value of critical thinking and cross-verifying facts, especially when making important decisions. 6. Conclusion. 115 to 120 seconds. Suggested ideas plus academic vocabulary / collocations. Since then, I've been more cautious with where I get my information. Information literacy, source authentication, digital discernment. That mistake was a turning point in how I approach online content. Learning curve, behavioral shift, preventive approach. It ultimately helped me become more informed and analytical. Personal growth, resilience building, knowledge enhancement. Example: in conclusion, although this incident was frustrating, it served as a valuable learning curve that enhanced my information literacy and taught me to verify every piece of information before acting on it. IELTS Speaking Part 2. Describe events. Subscribe. If you want more. Band 9 Model. Answers and strategies. Sample answer. I'd like to share an experience that highlighted the significance of verifying sources in our information-saturated age. It reminded me that misinformation, even when unintended, can have unanticipated consequences. This incident truly refined my understanding of critical thinking in everyday communication. This happened around 6 months ago when I was preparing for a professional certification exam that had a specific registration deadline. I was juggling multiple commitments at the time and relied heavily on digital notifications. Unfortunately, I received a mistimed email alert that threw my schedule off balance. The email I got stated that the registration portal would close on the 15th of the month, instead of the actual closing date, which was the 10th. This error was embedded in an official-looking message that mimicked the Institute's formatting and logo, a deceptive form of administrative error. I organized my preparations accordingly, unaware of the discrepancy until it was too late. When I logged in on the 13th, I was met with a system-generated notice stating that the deadline had already passed and no further submissions were being accepted. I immediately contacted the support team, who confirmed that the information I'd relied on was not issued by them, but by a third-party aggregator website. That's when I realized how essential it is to cross-reference primary sources, especially for matters with deadlines or legal implications. Initially, I felt a mix of frustration and disbelief, not only because I missed the exam, but also due to the trust one had placed in digital platforms. That said, over time, this event has reshaped my approach to communication. I now verify every detail through institutional channels. Ultimately, while disappointing, it became a lesson in informational literacy and personal accountability. In hindsight, this occasion was more than a scheduling mishap. It was a wake-up call that strengthened my ability to navigate data-driven environments with more discernment and care. It's an experience I now value for the insight it provided into the complexity of modern communication. Bonus tips to speak better. 1. Focus on the source and impact of the incorrect information. Avoid general explanations. Clearly describe where the misinformation originated and how it tangibly affected you. Example: the information stemmed from an unofficial source that closely mimicked institutional formatting, which led to a cascade of logistical challenges and missed opportunities. 2. Highlight the lesson or transformation that followed. Rather than simply stating the mistake, explain how it shaped your personal growth, habits, or decision-making process. Example: in retrospect, that moment reshaped my approach to digital communication and instilled a rigorous habit of verifying details through original institutional channels. 3. Link the experience to broader social or technological themes. Make the moment sound meaningful by connecting it to societal challenges like digital misinformation, system flaws, or reliance on automation. Example: this incident deepened my awareness of how the rapid spread of digital content can blur the lines between authority and imitation, especially in an age governed by algorithmic trust. What to avoid? 1. Avoid overly simple or everyday mistakes. Don't: I got the wrong time for a meeting and was late. Do: a miscommunicated policy deadline misled me, resulting in procedural setbacks and the need to recalibrate my preparation strategy entirely. 2. Don't overuse the word wrong or mistake. Don't: I received the wrong information and made a mistake because of it. Do: the discrepancy arose from inaccurate data, which distorted my timeline and hindered my ability to act within the official parameters. 3. Don't skip the emotional and cognitive response. Don't. I was confused and didn't know what to do. Do. At first, I experienced a blend of confusion and disappointment, but over time, I reframed the setback as a necessary trigger for personal and procedural recalibration. 50 academic collocations. Information-saturated age, a time when there is too much information everywhere. Verifying sources, checking where the information really comes from. Unintended consequences, results that were not planned or expected. Critical thinking in communication, thinking clearly and carefully when sharing or using information. Juggling multiple commitments, handling many responsibilities at the same time. Mistimed alert, a warning or notice that comes at the wrong time. Threw my schedule off balance, caused my plans to become disorganized. Official-looking message, a message that seems real or from an authority. Deceptive form of administrative error, a mistake that appears trustworthy, but is misleading. Organized my preparations, planned, and managed my study time. System-generated notice, an automatic message from a computer system. Deadline had already passed, the last day to do something was already over. Contacted the support team, reached out to people who help fix issues. Third-party aggregator website, a non-official website that collects info from many sources. Cross-reference primary sources, check and compare with the original or main source. Matters with legal implications, issues that could have legal effects or rules. Mix of frustration and disbelief, feeling angry and surprised at the same time. Trust one had placed in digital platforms, belief in the reliability of online tools or websites. Reshaped my approach to communication, changed the way I handle or think about sharing information. Verify every detail, double-check all facts or data. Institutional channels, official sources, or ways of communication, e.g. company or school websites. Lesson in informational literacy, a learning experience about using and understanding information well. Personal accountability, being responsible for your own actions. Scheduling mishap, a mistake in planning your time. Wake-up call, a sudden realization that something needs to change. Navigate data-driven environments, handle situations where information and data are everywhere. More discernment and care, greater ability to judge wisely and act carefully. Trusted but misleading, seemed reliable but gave wrong information. Digital misinformation, false or incorrect information online. Informed decision-making, making choices based on accurate and complete information. Communication pitfalls, common problems when sharing or receiving information. Dealing with unreliable sources, managing situations when the info can't be trusted. Missed opportunity due to error, losing a chance because of wrong information. Strengthened resilience, made you better at handling difficult situations. Emotional impact of misinformation, how wrong info can affect your feelings. Proactive information checking, actively making sure info is true before acting on it. Digital literacy practices skills for using and understanding information online. Relying on secondary channels depending on unofficial sources. Professional consequences effects on your work or career. Institutional clarity, clear communication from official organizations. Aligning deadlines and information, making sure dates and facts match correctly. Preventive strategies, steps to stop problems before they happen. Double-checking time-sensitive details, verifying dates or deadlines that are urgent. Unverified digital content, online info that hasn't been confirmed as true. Consequences of oversight, what happens when something important is missed. Real-time notification systems, alerts that inform you instantly. Emotional toll of misinformation, stress, or disappointment caused by false info. Institutional trust erosion, losing confidence in official sources. Importance of primary validation, the need to check info from the main source first. Reflective learning experience, learning by thinking deeply about what happened. Band 9 evaluation. 1. Fluency and coherence. Band 9. Why? The speaker presents a highly fluent and logically sequenced response. Each section transitions naturally from one idea to the next, using sophisticated connectors like unfortunately. That's when I realized, and ultimately, to ensure a cohesive narrative. There are no pauses, fillers, or self-corrections, and the speaker elaborates thoroughly without straying from the topic. Coherence. The structure is clear and well managed, moving through the incident's timeline with clarity. The speaker introduces the situation, provides background, and explains the implications, all in a coherent and structured way that maintains listener engagement throughout. Band 9 descriptors met. Speaks fluently with no noticeable hesitation. Develops responses coherently and in depth. No tangents or irrelevant details. 2. Lexical resource. Band 9. Why? The speaker demonstrates excellent control over topic-specific and academic vocabulary, including information-saturated age, cross-reference primary sources, institutional channels, wake-up call. These expressions not only enhance the precision and depth of the response, but also reflect a natural use of less common collocations and idiomatic phrasing. There's no repetition, and word choices are always appropriate and nuanced. Band 9 descriptors met. Wide range of precise and topic-relevant vocabulary. Effective use of less common lexical items and collocations. Virtually no repetition or inappropriate word choice. 3. Grammatical range and accuracy. Band 9. Why? The speaker skillfully uses a broad variety of grammatical structures, including conditionals. If I had double-checked the source, I wouldn't have missed the deadline. Relative clauses. The email that misled me appeared identical to official communication. Complex sentence forms with clear subordination. While disappointing, it became a lesson in informational literacy and personal accountability. All sentences are grammatically accurate with excellent control of tense, agreement, and sentence variety. Band 9 descriptors met. Uses a full range of grammatical structures naturally and accurately. No noticeable errors in tense, agreement, or sentence complexity. 4. Pronunciation, Band 9. Why, although audio is not available, the written delivery strongly suggests precise pronunciation of advanced phrases such as administrative error, system-generated notice, and digital platforms. Phrasing and punctuation choices indicate natural stress and rhythm, with well-placed pauses and emphatic emphasis likely used to enhance meaning. The emotional tone, e.g., frustration, realization, and reflection, would be supported by appropriate intonation. Band 9 descriptors met. Wide range of pronunciation features used effectively. Intonation and stress reflect meaning and structure. Fully intelligible, with no strain on the listener. Describe events. That's the end of today's Band 9 sample. If you found it helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more daily Band 9 answers.